Ask and you shall receive. Let's do some defense and kicker rankings for the entire rest of the season. So make sure you drop a like on this video and make sure you bookmark it so that when you are doing your pickups for defense and kickers in the next couple weeks, you can come back to this video and you can see. I'll cover week 15. Let's start with the defense here. You've got the Chiefs defense in week 15 going against the Cleveland Browns. So pretty good. The Chiefs obviously, not been the best defense on the year, but playing the Browns is going to be a good matchup for them. And then also in the S tier here, you have the Ravens. The Ravens are going up against the Giants. When you're looking at the Giants, they've been the third most scored against team this year in terms of defense and special teams. So they're going to be their matchup here, which is again the Ravens, going to be top of the S tier. A tier, the Bengals. Cincinnati that week plays the Tennessee Titans, and so yes, the Bengals are trash at defense, but against the Titans, they're probably going to get some turnovers there, and that's what we're hunting for. The Arizona Cardinals play the New England Patriots in week 15. The Atlanta Falcons are going to go up against the Raiders there. The Minnesota Vikings against the Chicago Bears, and then the New York Jets play the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so those are going to be the A-tier defenses. Those are going to be our first priorities on waivers if you can get them. In the B tier, we've got the Commanders. Washington plays New Orleans in week 15. The Eagles are going to be right behind them. The Eagles play Pittsburgh there, and then the Cowboys, they have Carolina that week. And Carolina's been better, but still worthy of maybe producing some turnovers, not near the advantage it was playing Carolina early in the season. And then the Broncos are going to start the next year here. They play the Indianapolis Colts that week, so that's a decent matchup for them. The Carolina Panthers, obviously in that game, play the Dallas Cowboys, and without Dak Prescott, you're going to have some upside there. And then the Green Bay Packers play the Seattle Seahawks. And so those are the top defenses. In terms of kickers, we've got Fairbairn there. We've got Boswell in the S tier. Boswell's S tier rest of the season. But then in A tier, you've got Brandon Aubrey, Cameron Dicker, Jason Sanders, Will Lutz, and Jake Bates. And these are going to be pretty much just based on how high the games are supposed to be scored, and then the offenses they're playing with. Matthew Wright starts the B tier. You got Jason Myers in this tier, Chase McLaughlin, Jake Moody, and then you've got Tyler Bass, Nick Folk, and Eddie Pinheiro here at the bottom. So for week 15, again, for defense, the streaming guys, you're just going to pick up the highest guy or the highest defense that's not already rostered in your league. And for kicker, it's kind of the same thing if you're streaming kicker at this point. Kicker is a little bit more, it doesn't super matter really, but the defense, I feel like you could definitely narrow down. So let's go to week 16.
Yeah, so S tier for your defenses in week 16, we're going to have the Bills, Falcons, and Chiefs all at the top. Again, a lot of this going to be matchup dependent. The Chiefs have the Texans, and the Texans can't block worth a darn in the pass game. So look for a decent amount of sacks for the Chiefs defensive line there. And then, again, I already mentioned the Falcons, who have been forcing a decent amount of turnovers of recent, and they're taking on the Giants. So you're going to see a lot of teams that are taking on the Giants during the playoffs are going to be elevated week to week when they're taking on that team. And then you got the Bills, who have New England. Now you've got Drake May on the rise. He's been looking really solid, but in a division matchup that the Bills have owned for years now, really since Allen has been on that team, I think you're looking at them. They're going to be on a mission. They got to win out if they want a chance of getting that 1 seed, and I think they're going to put on a clinic against the Pats, who just at this point are so depleted, and they're in a rebuild year. So A tier, you've got the Lions and the Packers, a couple of division rivals here, and you got the Packers with Derek Carr, no Derek Carr,
no Saints,
4 Saints, and then.
The whole Saints, they're just not there. So
Derek Carr and no Saints. And then you got the Lions taking on the Bears. The Bears, you can't figure out what they're going to do every single week. The Lions are going to be elevated this week. They do have some injuries, so keep an eye on them. But the Bears, since they fired like their entire staff, just you can't rely on them to be ultra productive consistently against a team that's trying to get that 1 seed in the NFC. Colts, Bucks, Raiders, and Jags all have solid enough matchups to put them in the B tier. Nothing that's really going to knock them significantly. And then the Chargers, Cardinals, and Titans are 3 solid defenses that have tougher matchups, but the consistency they've shown all season is going to probably merit starting them anyways. Then your kickers, again, Boswell and Fairbairn. I'm just going to spoil it for you. In week 17, we have Boswell and Fairbairn in the S tier again. No one else is going to break that because they've been the 2 most productive kickers in the NFL this year. Aubrey will be at the top of the A tier with Dallas, who's actually been scoring a decent amount of points. Cameron Dicker, Jake Bates, Jason Sanders, and then Harrison Butker will also mention in week 16. He has a good chance at coming back at that point, coming off the meniscus tear. Once he's back, The Chiefs struggle to score touchdowns consistently, but they do get in field goal range for Butker's leg. He has a good range, so he'll have a nice shot at scoring a lot of points there. Then you got Lutz in Denver, Chase McLaughlin, Jake Moody, and Chad Ryland in the B tier. And then the C tier is going to be Jason Myers, Tyler Bass, obviously from Buffalo. Nick Folk will be consistently on these rankings. He's going to be more matchup dependent, but gosh, when he takes 50-yard field goal attempts, he makes all of them. So
yeah, he's very accurate. All right, let's go to week 17 now. Defense, you got the Dolphins. This week they play the Browns, so that's going to be fantastic. The Titans, you've got Jacksonville, perfect matchup for them, and then the Los Angeles Chargers. They play the New England Patriots this week. So again, a very good set of matchups there in week 17. I would go ahead and pick those guys up early and screw your depth at this point. A tier, Colts. The Colts are playing the Giants this week. Excellent. The Eagles. Philly has the Dallas Cowboys this week. And then dropping down to the B tier, the Seahawks. They have the Chicago Bears in week 17. You've got the New Orleans Saints. They've got the Las Vegas Raiders, so pretty good matchup for that team as well. The Buffalo Bills. In week 17, they've got the New York Jets, and then you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've got Carolina, again, not early season Carolina, but still a good matchup. And then the C tier here. The Chiefs, again, they're going to play Pittsburgh this week. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I believe they have Tennessee. We already talked about that matchup. The Chicago Bears have the Seattle Seahawks. And then the Atlanta Falcons will be last year. They have the Washington Commanders. A tougher matchup for them, but still a pretty good defense to stream. And then kickers, Fairbairn, Boswell, we already talked about it. Chase McLaughlin's going to be in the A tier with Jake Bates, Will Lutz, and Tyler Bass. Again, all projected to be a high-scoring matchup. Jake Bates in this tier, you've got the Niners, so a good matchup for him. And then going down to the B tier, Jason Myers, Cameron Dicker, the kicker, Chad Ryland, Harrison Butt, kicker, Brandon Aubrey. Again, Brandon Aubrey is going to be down here because that offense is playing the Eagles, and it's not near what they were. And then Jason Sanders, Nick Folk, and Jake Moody.
And then I do want to mention, just again, we gave you a huge list of names for kickers, and that can be confusing. Here's what you want to know, because a lot of this is based off of the teams that allow the most amount of production to kickers on a week-to-week basis. And here's going to be your top teams that you're going to want to keep an eye on. If your kicker is taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, you want to be starting them because they've allowed 11.5 points per game to kickers this year, which is absolutely wild. You've got the Chicago Bears as well, who have allowed 9.5. The Dolphins, as good of a defense as they are, they stop a lot of people in the red zone, but again, people can get past the 50-yard line against that team. They bend, don't break, but that allows a lot of field goal attempts for the kickers playing against them. And then you've got the Falcons as well. Again, they force a lot of turnovers, but they allow a lot of production with kickers. And then the Jets, who just have gotten worse and worse as the year has continued on, especially their defense. The Panthers have been one of the worst defenses in the NFL production-wise across the board. You're going to want to start any kicker that's going up against them. And the Arizona Cardinals as well. They have a decent defense, but the kickers that they've played and all of the high-scoring matchups that they've had in that division have allowed this amount of production on a weekly basis. So, and then the Los Angeles Rams, same sort of situation as the Cardinals, right? Very highly competitive, high-scoring games consistently. So keep an eye on every single one of those teams that I listed. If you've got a kicker matching up against one of those teams, you're probably going to want to take a shot.
Yeah. So there you go. Kicker and defense. Hopefully this helps you. Like I said, save this video, come back to it. You can use it for your waivers, but figured we'd do that for you guys. We got a couple requests for it. So appreciate you guys so much. Peace out. We'll see you later.